What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about GameStop and how personally I'm never going to shop there ever again. Now, that's a pretty big statement because here in America, they are the largest gaming retailer. If you want to get games for cheap, you pretty much got to go there or nowhere else. However, I think it's worth not going into their crappy stores because at this point, I've realized that they're a retail chain that has dedicated themselves just to ripping you off. That's how they make their profit. In order to explain why, we need to back up a bit and talk about a totally different store called JCPenney. Now that seems a little bit odd because they're a clothing retailer, but there's actually a lot of lessons involving JCPenney that show exactly why GameStop has become so evil. So in the 60s and 70s, JCPenney did a series of experiments to see just exactly how you could trick your customers into buying stuff that they wouldn't necessarily buy otherwise. There's two things they figured out. Number one, if you make it look like stuff is on sale, people will buy it even if it's actually a worse deal. And number two, if you end your product code with something like 97 cents or 98 cents, people will buy it because their brain rounds it down instead of up. Now these sound like small changes, but it's things that showed that they were making billions of dollars. They were trying to mislead their customers in small ways to trick them psychologically. Well, in 2012, a new person took over the company of JCPenney and decided to start a new initiative. He was going to call it the Always Honest Plan, where they would just have every single price be $37. They would just take out all those pennies, and another thing, there would no longer be sale prices. Instead, every item would just be cheap all the time. This caused them to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. They had to close thousands of stores, and to this day, JCPenney is still losing money. This is such a massive thing in the business world that people still talk about it and refer to it as the JCPenney problem, showing that you do, to some degree, need to trick your customer base in order to get them to buy new products. However, GameStop has clearly taken this philosophy 10 steps too far. Now, GameStop is rather famous for being an annoying place to shop because the people behind the counter are just constantly pestering you to pre-order games or try and get a stupid collector's edition when you really don't want it. But more than that, this entire store is built to lie. So they've just come up with a new thing in the last couple months called the Elite Pro Rewards Program. So if you're shopping at GameStop, they already have their Pro Reward card, which basically makes it where games are 10% cheaper and you get 10% more on trade-ins. But now they have come up with a new initiative, which is the Elite Pro card. This is twice as expensive and gives twice the discount. Now here's the thing. On their box, when you shop in their store, it only shows the Elite Pro price. If you pick up a box, it says the normal price, which is very, very high, say $55, and the Elite Pro price, which is usually about $7 cheaper. Now, the point of this is to make your brain automatically assume the product is going to be like $42 instead of $49. This is to try and make you mentally calculate whether you can afford something, all in an effort to make you pick something up. Once a person has a product in their hand, they are 10 times more likely to buy it. That means that their boxes are 100% trying to mislead you just so you'll pick it up, be confused, and then go to the register. Because even if you actually are afraid of actually spending that much on a game, you're more likely to buy it if it's already on the counter. This is a system completely built to try and make it where you're going to be pressured to buy something that normally you'd back out of. Now on top of this, there's the issue of the fact that there is now known as a circle of life system built into GameStop. The employees are being told to lie to you about whether or not they have new games or used games. If you go in and you're looking for a brand new copy of the biggest and latest game that you're excited for, the employees are now being encouraged to lie to you and say that they don't have a new copy, even if that is specifically what you request. They try to push you to buy the used copy anytime they can, because there's a bigger profit margin for them. Now, That is something that makes a little bit of sense because they're trying to run a store, but it's really aggravating when you're somebody like a real hardcore collector. So a couple months ago, I was trying to buy a PlayStation Vita, a new one. I wanted a fat PlayStation Vita and a slim PlayStation Vita, that way I could do a comparison video. And when I went in there, I could not get them to give me a straight answer as to whether or not they had a new one. They would not tell me if they had one in stock, even though I could see one in the case. Inside the glass case, there was very clearly a brand new PlayStation Vita, and I figured, alright, it's $10 more for a product that I know is going to work no matter what, and they would not sell it to me. That's because their stores are completely predicated on trying to mislead you, about confusing you into buying something for what you think is the best deal possible, even if it's actually not better for you. Each part of their business model is now completely based around trying to lie to you in some way. Even the GameStop credit card, which tries to pretend like it's going to be cheaper by giving you a big discount, has such high interest on it, you're going to be paying more per game on a monthly basis by having it. Each and every part of this company is made to try and deceive you, and that's because they are losing money extremely fast. That's why if you go into a GameStop recently, the amount of games they sell is shrinking. They put them on the walls, but the entire center of the store looks like a freaking Hot Topic. There's shirts, mugs, pop caps, every single item to try and lock you in. This is another part of psychology that they use in retail called the point of sale, where they try and basically lock you in a corner with items that are as cheap as possible, and if you walk out of that, there's the more expensive items on the back. $60 games on the wall, cheap stuff in the center, to try and make it where as you go through the store, you're going to be constantly confused and deceived as to what you'd actually be paying if you picked up a couple items. All of this drives me nuts because I hate a store that is built only to try and get you to buy stuff. Now that is how they keep you in business, but at this point, GameStop still makes billions of dollars a year. If you want to make money and you want to keep people coming back, honesty really is the key. People are willing to pay $60 for games. I mean, at this point, if people want something cheaper and they don't want to deal with a person asking for them to pre-order South Park: The Stick of Truth, the only way to get great deals is probably to shop online. Almost everybody I know who's really frugal buys stuff exclusively through Amazon because now you can get a lot of new games for 20% off. Almost everything is a better deal even if you go to Best Buy. GameStop has now made themselves the worst deal in town, making it where the competition is just going to completely trample them by being more clear with their messaging. I'm never going to GameStop again. In fact, I'm going to flat out boycott them. But it's not just because I think that they're a crappy corporation, it's the fact that I know they only want to lie. They train their employees to lie, their labels lie, and even their value card is based on nothing but lies. I'm not going to support that kind of business, and I want to watch them fail because at this point, they, in my opinion, are one of the most evil corporations on America. I can walk into Walmart and get more clear deals, and I personally really don't like Walmart. If one of the worst corporations in America, Walmart, seems like a better place to shop than your store, then you are definitely doing something wrong. But this has just been my 2 cents, and hopefully this video didn't come out too scientific. I really hope you enjoyed it. I did a lot of research for this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. I just want to say, Target has been doing these new things now, but there's actually like a clearance rack at every Target. I found this for 20 bucks. And man, I've put so many hours going back through BioShock. So seriously, big tip of the hat to places like Walmart and Target and Best Buy for adapting. You guys have actually kind of revolutionized your gaming sections and made a shopper like me a pretty diehard fan. So really, I have to say, I really give credit to those companies for changing up their style. You guys actually kind of rock, and I never thought I'd say that. Oh, hi. I'm just working on the next video. If you want to see what it is, go ahead and click this button and you can subscribe. Also, if you click these video links, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. Now I'm just going to sit here for a minute and wait for you to subscribe. Oh, I guess I could put on these giant glasses. I literally found these on a roller coaster.